Howdy, everyone. Welcome to Tilson Live. It is Tuesday. We are here live. I am one of your hosts, Eric Allard, Senior Vice President of Tilson Homes, part of the fourth generation of the Tilson family, and I am joined, as I am, thank the Lord, every single week by our Vice President of Marketing and Customer Experience, Mrs. Dawn Dantzler. Hello, Dawn.
Hey, Eric.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I am especially grateful today because some kind of setting has changed and I can't run the PowerPoint. I'm completely handicapped. Everything's.
I gotcha.
I know. And Dawn, as usual, is saving the day and yeah, going to make it an actual pleasant experience for all you guys who have tuned in to watch. So I will introduce our esteemed guest here in a moment. For right now, you just look in mystery. She does work for Tilson. We coordinated today. We're both rocking our Navy.
I know. I didn't get the memo. Sorry, guys.
Didn't get the memo. But so guys, jump in. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us where you're building. Tell us what part of the process that you're in. If you built with us before, if you're thinking about building, if you're under construction, maybe at some point you've had some type of minor issue go on with your house. And today, that's what we're going to talk about. We are joined by Christy Reyes, who is the manager of our customer care department. So welcome, Christy. Thank you for agreeing to do this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm excited for this.
I know it was not your idea. So I think
we don't have to share that. We don't have to share.
Not at all.
We share everything, Christy. We share everything.
That's right. That's right. We have people. Sometimes we overshare. Sometimes that happens.
Yes, very much.
We are here to talk today about all things customer care related, warranty related. Folks, we know that you're going to make a decision at some point to build a home with somebody, hopefully us. And when that happens, a lot of the questions that do come up in the process is, hey, it's real exciting to do the design and real exciting to do all the fun color selection stuff and make the changes. And that's all very cool. Construction is its own exciting time, particularly right now, quite the rodeo.
It's its own adventure. But
then eventually all the Tilson people are going to be done and we're going to leave you to your beautiful piece of property. But then what? Then what happens? So we're here to talk about that today. So bring all of your questions, concerns, just stuff off the top of your head that you want to know about. Hey, what is the warranty like on the foundation? How does that work? And what about my appliances? And what about my air conditioning? We care moderately about heat, Christy, but not a whole lot. There's like 4 days that we need heat, and we usually don't have power.
We already had those this year, so we're done with it.
Very true.
Doesn't matter. So yeah, folks, again, tell us where you are watching from, where you're building, maybe what home you're building, what part of the process that you're in. Share that with us. And we do have a presentation for you. I'm going to just take a nap because I can't get the presentation to run anyway. I'm going to let these two, very accomplished ladies take it from here. But we do want to have all of your questions. We want you to be very secure with your decision. And we know that this is a big part of that decision is to know what's going to happen. Like, how is my home taken care of after the builder is done building it? There are laws on the books in Texas that about home warranties. We'll talk a little bit about that. But the reality is a warranty is only as good as the company behind it.
Right.
And that company is only as good as the people behind it. And that's where Christy and Dawn come in.
Okay.
We could not accomplish this stuff without capable ladies like y'all. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So Dawn, anybody joining us yet? Or are we all just the three of us just here? Oh, I have questions for Christy.
Okay.
Christy, I have questions for you.
Yes.
I know you didn't sign up.
I'll try my best to answer.
I think, okay. So how long have you been with Tilson? Kind of what's been your path? Because I know you haven't always been in customer care.
No, I've now been, December 1st was actually I hit 18 years with Tilson.
Oh, wow.
Yay. So it's surprising. I'm counting down the months because we're already February. This month is going to fly by and 19 is going to be here before you know it. I can say that that's been the case since the day I started. It's just flown by, which, I can't complain because I love working here and the people I'm surrounded by. So it's been great.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I can't. Before we started, I said I think I've known you my whole adult life. I think we've kind of grown up doing this together. Yeah. Well, you've grown up. I have not. I'm still a child. But
I did start off at. I was not in warranty and service. I think I've been in the customer care department. Sorry, I've been in customer care department for probably 11 years now. I believe.
It's a brief stint of a decade.
Yeah.
She's just been doing it a little while, guys.
Just a little while. Just a little bit.
See, I did it backwards. I started in warranty when I came.
Oh, did you? Okay. So
yeah, and then figured out that in sales offices they have air conditioning and I don't have to climb in the attic of a house and also it was very important that our customers, when we repaired the sheetrock, that it actually looked good when we left. And I learned a lot and have a deep respect for our warranty techs that are out there, but I was not exactly nailing it on the perfect sheetrock texture patch. So I can get your deposit back in like an apartment situation, but I'm probably not going to be the guy you want there, making it look all good for when family's over for Thanksgiving dinner. Probably not.
We have a great group of guys that can help you train if you ever want to touch up on that.
I'm in. I'm always up for learning new skills. So Dawn, who's okay? Well, thank you for that. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day. And yeah, Dawn, what's going on with folks? Are folks watching?
Yeah, we got Polly joining us, watching from Grapetown, ready to start foundation hopefully soon.
Very cool.
And we got Janet building a Live Oak D in Grayson County. Should be released to construction any minute.
Awesome.
We got Amber, hi from Florence, Texas, building an Angelina C in Hamilton County. Was just released to construction last week, and forms are being set this week. Awesome.
There you go. All right, Amber. Well, thank you.
We got David. Howdy, y'all. Eric, you are beyond blessed to have Dawn. That's very sweet.
Yeah.
Christy is a natural on camera. He can't stick around. I hope you have a great day. Thank you, David.
Thanks, David. Thanks.
We got Joe. Hello. Have our own property between San Marcos and New Braunfels. Very interested in Tilson Home. I live in New Braunfels. Awesome.
Oh, awesome. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for tuning
Christy, we got one of your team members, Nick, saying hi.
What's up, Nick?
He's saying hi twice. He was so excited he needed to say it twice. And then we have Wendy with a question. We're going to build an RGR, so a public grand ranch, hopefully signing within the next few months. What floor plan do you all plan on building there? Also, we saw another builder building a modern farmhouse type, no stone or brick. I thought that wasn't allowed there by the Builders Association. Did that change?
Okay, so a couple things on that. Number one, we can't tell you yet which one we're building.
Yes.
But we do have a meeting there Thursday. It's because it's a secret.
It's a secret from us too.
Even to us. No, we have a meeting there Thursday. Our team is meeting up there to walk the lot. We want to get the perfect, not just home, but actually we have the largest of all of the builders' properties in there. And so we want to do something pretty spectacular with our site. We've got a little over 3 acres, which we're pretty stoked about. So we're going to do some things a little bit different than how we did it in Texas Grand Ranch, which we're excited about. But because of that, we have not released which model that we're going to build. Question 1. Question 2. Yes, there is a builder in there who's part of a program. I think it's the Southern Living program.
Yeah, Southern Living.
And they have a dedicated number of lots in there that they are allowed to build that on. I don't know exactly how that works because we're not doing that program. We're going to adhere to the deed restrictions of the subdivision, which I think are just like Texas. I think it's 60% masonry. So that's either stone or brick. Hardy plank does not count as a masonry veneer in that situation. So yeah, it is a little confusing. I don't know what the ins and outs of it are. I don't know what the deal that's cut with the developer. I don't know anything about that, other than I know what the recorded deed restrictions say. So you are right, Wendy. You are reading it correctly.
Yes.
I know that because you're reading it how I'm reading it, which means it's correct.
Yeah. We've got Ashton. We info in for pre-approval. Awesome.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
We've got Russell saying how proud he is of Christy.
Oh, look at that.
Appreciate it, Russell.
Yeah.
We got our friend Javo. We've been released to construction. Looking forward to meeting our construction manager. Awesome.
All right. Well, good deal.
We've got Paula building the Whitney in Liberty Hill. It was poured last week. Very exciting.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
Yeah. We got Marina. We just signed and are so excited to build a Canyon A in Burnett County. Awesome. It's going to be a good one. We got Kathy. Just finished framing stage on a driftwood in Lavaca County, waiting on HVAC supplies. Yeah.
You and us both. And we'll be talking about that HVAC warranty here in just a little bit.
Yes.
So.
We will. We've got Nick. Hey guys, the two built in here in Campo built the San Jacinto in 2019. We absolutely love our Tilson home. Cannot say enough about the quality of the home they produce and the customer service that comes with it. Warranty department is amazing, and they really do go above and beyond to resolve any issues that may arise. We had just a few minor issues, and they were addressed and fixed very fast. Thank you, Nick.
Look at that.
That's very sweet.
Look at that. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate that, man.
We've got
and we do
Julie.
record these, Christy. So we've got that
Yes.
document.
I appreciate that.
You can use that for your one-on-one. We send it to Justin.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Don't listen to me. Listen to Mr. Tupa.
Yeah. We got Julie building a Whitney that we styled as a farmhouse in Bowie, released to estimating. Yay, we cannot wait to meet our builder. That's awesome.
Exciting.
We got Lucky Luke watching from a military base building in Canyon Lake.
A nondescript building at an undisclosed location. I like it.
I know. We got Jarana High from Pipe Creek, hopefully going to construction as soon as the ACC approves the plans for our canyon.
Very cool.
And we've got Tracy High from Henley. Framing has started. Awesome.
A lot of Central Texas folks.
That is
Yes.
very much so.
Twilight Stitcher. Hey, Tilson team. Renata here for New Brumfuls. Our land is in Canyon Lake. Building soon with Tilson. Awesome.
Very nice.
All right.
Okay. Well, other than that, no one's watching, so that's good.
Yeah. Clearly we're by ourselves, so don't worry about it, Christy. We're all good.
Yeah.
No, it's fine. If we like, I mean, I can kind of just describe kind of within our own department, like as far as in-house and how many techs and things like that.
Yeah.
I can say, once I started in this particular department, I'm very a little OCD on organizing things and having that structure in a sense, and trying to find the best way to allow everything to work, to flow for both homeowners as well as us, and have that structure with it. We do have 3, great representatives in Austin, customer care representatives that we've got them on schedules to where we do have somebody available from the minute they walk in at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. There is coverage on the phones. With that, of course, we've got 2 of our representatives were actually previous customer service field technicians. So we were grateful enough that they were able to transition into their new roles as customer service representatives and bring in all their knowledge and skills that, when homeowners do call in with any questions, that they immediately know, because they can envision, I know what this is. I know what needs to be done. I know who to send and how to get it going for you. I mean, it's been great, and I'm just grateful for the reps themselves. And of course, we've got we have 6 customer service technicians that, throughout 3 regions throughout the field, and handle all the in-house service. And they're pretty much jack of all trades. And for the most part, anything, somebody's got a question about, we can always, if we don't know right away, we could always reach out to them for their input and their knowledge, and kind of, help us provide what we need to our homeowners.
Yeah, that's something that is kind of unique, and we take it for granted, or I always have, is that a lot of builders, talk about other custom builders or even production builders for that matter, the building superintendents themselves take care of their own warranty.
I've heard that.
Work. Okay. Well, and I like the accountability of that. I think I like the theoretical idea behind that, because the theory would be, right, if you have to take care of your own warranty, you're going to do a better job.
Right.
And while that may be true to some degree, the reality is the homes that are under construction are always going to be that builder's top priority.
Right.
And so some plate is going to quit spinning, right? And that plate's probably going to be their warranty work, because that stuff will always be there, and the stuff under construction has to be taken care of. So I love the fact that we do have our own dedicated in-house customer care department. That is their focus. They take care of the customers that have already closed. So there's no competing demands, for their time. This is all y'all do.
Right. And it's not going to be, some companies, they have that outside contractor for warranty and service that you call, and you get the customer service line for someone else, and you don't know who you're going to speak to that day. And obviously in our case, it's going to be one of 3 people, and it's always going to be the same team. I can say that we're very close. We all talk on a daily basis. We talk about the jobs. We put our minds together on, okay, what's the best avenue to take to get this, done correctly and properly, or whatever the case may be, or just if they're just somebody looking for guidance or help, or, on something for their personal preference. And, we're like, we don't know, but let's see what we can do to help you find that answer or direct you to where you need to go. But knowing that it's just us, us in office, that could actually work together to get you the answer. There's not many people it's just us. So
Yeah, and while we
yeah.
do in some cases, I know y'all will send like a third party contractor, for instance, if it's like HVAC, electrical, plumbing, something like that, a pretty major deal. Sometimes a painter if it's a really, really large,
Right.
repair. But for the, we're not relying on those third party vendors to actually execute and get it done. Does that make sense? So like a lot of other builders, they use a third party warranty company. Like we have a third party warranty, but that's more of that's the specs and the insurance behind it. It is our own warranty department with our own Tilson. Like it's a Tilson employee shows up in a Tilson vehicle to fix your Tilson home.
Right.
It's not some third party contractor that we're sending out.
Right.
Not some plumber. I'm sorry, some third party handyman service that we've contracted with. And there are a lot of builders that do that.
Right.
So anyway, a lot of thought's been put into, hey, building a house is great. We know that humans, are going to do human things, and we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. And because of that, we believe in that level of accountability to go fix our own stuff and take care of our customers. So
very much so.
Okay. Well, I'm sure there's a presentation. I've had it pulled up on 15 different windows online. Just can't seem to share it.
So let's talk a little bit about the warranties that come with your Tilson home.
And guys, keep putting your questions into the chat. We will answer every single one of your questions as long as you need us to. And we want to be sure you have all the great information that you need. Again, as always, a well-informed customer is the happiest customer.
Absolutely.
So ask all your questions.
Yeah, so we wanted to kind of go over just to make sure that everyone kind of understood the warranty and the coverage. Of course, it is broken down. To start off with, like typically around 2 weeks after a home closes, every homeowner that does close on their home within 2 weeks from closing, they'll end up receiving an email personally from me on welcoming them into their new Tilson home and basically giving them information on how to register their appliances and understanding what's covered under the first, the second, and up to the third through 10th year of being in their home, and also providing our main warranty phone number information along with our main warranty email address that is shared by not only myself but the other 3 representatives in office. So there's always going to be someone available. We understand that people do work during the day, and email is going to be their best avenue to take when wanting to reach out for any questions. Even when you do send something into us, photos always help. They help us determine and kind of get a better idea of what that is. But going off of that, your first year is basically your fit and finish items. Your as far as it could be your workmanship of everything that in your home. That could be from the paint to the caulking to door adjustments, to cabinet adjustments, to your plumbing fixtures, as well as your light fixtures also fall under a 1-year warranty. I believe the thermostat as well does, but again, you've got your manufacturers that cover the extended.
Yeah, this is all, just to go back up, this is through Tilson. Like this has nothing to do yet with the manufacturer. These 1, 2, and 10-year stuff is by Tilson, right? Okay. Yeah.
Correct. Yes, Eric. And then of course going into your second year is your mechanical, which is your HVAC, electrical, and plumbing, and your HVAC service. Again, excluding your seasonal maintenance, that would be a separate service agreement that you can set up with your local AC contractor. You can set up with the if you're whomever the surrounding HVAC installer is, maybe discussing that with them. But if you are just looking for a seasonal service, that is separate from the actual service we provide throughout your first and second year. And then, of course, with plumbing is more of your water lines, major plumbing leaks in the walls or in the slab or wherever it may be coming from. And then your electrical is also the wiring as well. But again, keeping in mind, going back to the actual fixtures themselves, plumbing and electrical do fall under that 1 year. And then, of course, your 10-year is your structural warranty. The load bearing that covered that for your home itself and your foundation. If had any concerns, and again, going back to the email that I do send out, there is another copy of the homeowner intro booklet, as well as a structure booklet that does give a lot more detail If you have any concerns or questions about, is this covered, or, what am I supposed to do, or what are the tolerances, you can always reference that book. It's a structured third-party warranty booklet that does have additional detailed information in it.
Yeah. And then, like Eric kind of said, there's multiple manufacturer warranties that are actually covering the products that were installed in your home that go even above and beyond our warranty. So a little more detail on the 1-year warranty. I think, like you said, it's mostly kind of the workmanship, so the actual installation of these products, and then like the cosmetic items. Is that kind of in a nutshell?
Yes, very much so.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to paint, of course, I mean, if it's something from construction, yes. If it's more towards the end of the year, and you're unfortunately somebody's bumped their toy into the wall or something, that would not be considered a part of workmanship. So those are things, like we would discuss and review and look at the photos to determine, but we can always provide you with your color information if you're needing something for those type of just wear and tear, items.
The little things that, like maybe the grout didn't get, or the thin set didn't get spread quite right under one of the tiles or something like that, and it cracks, in month 8. That is a warranted item in the first year. Those kinds of things is what I remember typically seeing. Maybe caulking around a commode or something like that, where it's come loose or dried out or something like that. Those are things that would be your cosmetic 1-year warranty stuff. And of course, if you have a question, like Christy said, we got all the technology in the world these days. Like, you can take a picture and send it to her team, and they can make a determination pretty quick. And if they have further questions, we will send someone out.
Yes,
take a look at it. So if you're concerned about anything, holler. It's pretty simple.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
And then the 2-year, like you were saying, is the components, kind of like making sure everything's good to go with your electric and plumbing and stuff like that, but not like the fixtures themselves.
Correct. Fixtures are the 1 year, but yes, that the HVAC services, it does fall under the 2-year. Any concerns? And we do keep track. We have our database system that obviously we like to keep thorough record for our purposes as well as our homeowners. As far as knowing what the history of the home from the first time you call. So we actually do urge homeowners to call warranty when they see a concern, and please not wait until towards the end of the first year and try to call in the list, because it does make it a little bit more difficult for us to be able to hold others accountable or set it up with it being so close to the end of that first year. It's always best to call as you see something, and we can document it and kind of follow along with it as it goes.
Okay, but good to know. And then your 10-year, like you mentioned, it's structural. Like everything that's physically holding the roof up and the house up is what kind of that means.
Yes, any load bearing, and of course any the foundations, and the foundation itself. Of course, there's tolerances. There is a section in that gives more detail as to if there's a crack in the concrete. We do see stress cracks or hairline cracks, things like that. And it is typical for the concrete drying out, over time. Doesn't necessarily mean you've got a foundation issue, but there is additional detailed information that we can provide, or that is in the booklet that will tell you what that tolerance is and how to identify that if you do have a concern.
Okay.
Yeah. So in layman's terms, I mean, you're going to see, like Chris said, you're going to see cracks in your foundation on the porches and the garages predominantly, because the rest of it's typically covered with floor coverings, unless you have thin concrete. But that's where you're going to see them. And again, if you're concerned about it, holler, and we'll get some pictures. We'll send somebody out if we need to. We'll send an engineer if we have to. But there are tolerances, like you're saying, where a slab can move a little bit. That might be a little extreme, or it can.
Yes, please don't do that.
Yeah, skateboards shouldn't roll in your house, Eric.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to take a golf ball and send it. Except the porches, they do slope, so something to think about. Doesn't mean something's wrong. It means something's actually very right. So, but to be able to not, you're in good hands, and a hairline crack that you see going through your porch, while it may not be the most aesthetically pleasing thing, it does not mean your house is cracked in two and it's about to fall down and we're going to leave you hanging. Like that's not what that means. And so we've got, Christy and her team do a phenomenal job of talking to people, educating them. It's the point of all of these shows that we do, of course, is so that we'll let you know when it's time to be concerned.
Right.
Yes.
And look, straight up, we're very transparent on this show. We have had to go out and fix foundations. We've had to move people out of their homes into a hotel for a certain number of weeks or months to be able to completely do. I mean, when it's wrong, and we're going to make it right. So it's okay to go there. It's not something we enjoy doing. Thankfully, it does not happen very, very often.
No.
So
Where's that wood? But yeah, and when it does come to the foundation, it's not an easy decision to make. It's not something that we could go out there one visit and say, "Oh, I know what's wrong. We're going to have to go with this huge plan." Unfortunately, it does take a lot more time invested into just to be able to see what else we can do or what avenues we can take to improve the area before we consider that, because doing something with the foundation is going to be probably the last thing that we want to just steer towards.
Yeah, just like with, I know it sounds a little bizarre maybe, but just like with medical intervention, there's more than one way to kind of treat an issue, or in this case, a foundation issue. It doesn't necessarily mean we have to move everybody out, jack it up, be that invasive. Like, just like you don't cut someone's chest open and start going in whenever they start coughing. Like, let's take some other steps first, see if we can mitigate what's going on.
Yeah.
And then if those things don't work, then let's get with the engineer. We'll partner up with the engineer and the customer and take those next steps. But this is why we do spend so much time up front on that geotechnical investigation, with the engineering, making sure that it's inspected before we place the concrete by the engineering firm, by a building inspector, so that we do it proactively instead of reactively. I know that sometimes we've gone back to some of these customers and there's an additional charge for the foundation that the engineer designed. I promise you, whatever it is way less trouble, way less headache, and way less money than going in and doing something like this. And so that's the reason for that exhaustive process, is to avoid something like this, and which is why we don't have to do it very often, thankfully.
No, I do not.
All right. And then we also have our manufacturer's warranty, and very, very important tip on those, Christy. What do we have to do to make sure our manufacturer's warranties are valid?
We definitely have to register our products. We've got, again, going back to, I do within a couple of weeks. And actually, I believe they get it beforehand as well, the home introduction booklet. In your home introduction booklet, there is a page about warranty, and it's kind of right there, big red bold letters. It does say that, register your appliances and your HVAC system and your products in your home within 30 days. The email that I send out 2 weeks after closing, I also include that same booklet, and I also include a product registration information sheet, which will take you directly to the links if you'd like to do that online. It'll take you directly to the links of either your appliance companies for your kitchen appliances. It's got the water heaters that we use listed, as well as the HVAC and heating systems, also through Linux or Train. I believe we're just solely Linux now. But obviously you'll need your model and serial numbers registered within 30 days, and you can either contact the toll-free number, you can fill out the registration cards that are left at the home, or you can just follow the links that are provided to you in your welcome and email. When it comes to the appliances themselves, we do provide the appliance packages. We prefer the homeowners contact us, again, for record purposes. You call us when you're having a concern, and we will send it off to basically it ends up in the hands of either Frigidaire, Electrolux, or whatever appliance company you go through, because they in fact carry their own warranty and service on their products. We are just solely involved to try to help get that going for you and making sure it gets done. We have no control over the manufacturer's warranty. That is separate, but we do, again, request that you contact us if you want us to help keep that thorough record in your file.
Yeah. Well, and we might have a little bit more influence than they do, because we're going to buy more than one oven.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But what we don't have is a warehouse full of microwaves and ranges and dishwashers, so we can just run out. In fact, no one has those right now, including the manufacturers.
Right. Yes.
Very true.
Very, very true. And then beyond your appliances, there's a bunch of other, different manufacturers' warranties on all your different products. We talked about Lennox. They've got 2 separate warranties on your unit. And we talk a lot in our construction videos about the warranties that are included on the actual construction product. So, Owens Corning has the lifetime limited warranty. Your windows have a lifetime limited warranty. Acme Bricks got a 100-year warranty. So all of these are, above and beyond what Tilson is covering. We make sure that we partner with reputable brands.
I think Delta puts a limited lifetime warranty on their plumbing fixtures.
They do. And I can say Delta stands by their product. I can truly say that. We just give we've even given homeowners their toll-free number, and then we'll end up calling. In some cases, if we have to call, it's within minutes. The homeowner is just having to provide their address, and they're getting them taken care of. Wow. Nice. They have been a great. They definitely stand by their product for sure. And keeping in mind that why it's important to register your products for this reason. So when you're looking at like Lennox and you want to see if your compressor is under that 5-year, warranty, or your heat exchange for the 20-year, you have to register your product. And again, that's something after the 2-year through us, you can, either again, contact your local HAC company. Sometimes locals do their separate extended warranty, or if you're ever having any concerns, as long as your product is registered, you're always going to have coverage, and they'll have it on file. And keep in mind, it will be parts only. They unfortunately do not cover labor or service, so that will be separate. It's for their actual parts to their products.
Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and pause a minute because we've got some questions that are piling up before we talk about maintenance on your home. So let me go back to where we were. So we had Martina checking in. Hello, Eric, Dawn, and Christy, building in Hidalgo and Hamilton County. Should be having hard points this week or next week. And she actually asked later, what does that mean? What's a hard point, Eric?
Okay, so hard points are something that the engineers typically design. We most often see that method employed whenever there's a dirt pad built of some sort on the property. So we typically will do a pad in that area in Hamilton, and what they'll do is what we really want the foundation resting for the whole width of the home and length of the home on the same type of soil.
Okay.
So if we've got some kind of dirt out there and it's angled like that, and we bring a different kind of dirt out here to make it flat, what the engineer is going to want a lot of times is a hard point to go through the new dirt we brought out into the virgin soil or the undisturbed soil. So usually it's about, depending on the design, every 4 feet to 8 feet. Sometimes just around the perimeter. Sometimes it's only where that other dirt is. Sometimes it's just on the back of the house, let's say. But what they are is they're holes. They're concrete. We will be concrete pilings almost that sit beneath the foundation itself. They're part of the foundation, but they sit beneath it, and they kind of rest to make sure that the foundation is being supported by the same type of soil.
Okay.
The reason that's important is because all soil reacts differently to excess moisture and lack of moisture, which I know Chris is going to get into, but it's one thing to deal with one type, and it's very difficult for one house to be sitting on two soil types that are going to react differently to excess moisture or lack of moisture, because it makes it very unpredictable what the house is going to do. Okay. And unpredictability makes engineers very nervous. I like unpredictability. I kind of like a little chaos, but engineers, not so much.
They get twitchy.
They get twitchy when it comes to a little bit of unpredictability. So the hard points make it very predictable. Hey, we know that if we get down into, they'll usually call for 12-inch embedment, which means they want to go 12 inches into the undisturbed soil, the virgin soil that was already out there. And that makes them very happy. So, and a lot of times Martina will go out and do that, depending on how deep they are, how out of level maybe it is, they'll come out and do those first prior to pouring the actual foundation. Other cases where I see those required or asked for by engineers, when we did the model home, the Canyon model in Bryan, right? So we had a home sitting there before, the Savannah sat there. And by the way, before that, there was another home sitting there from 1982 to 1996, but no one remembers that except old people like me. And so we demoed the Savannah. Well, obviously, when you're demolishing a structure, a home, slab, all that, there's a lot of disturbance of the soil. And so in that case, an engineer is going to say, hey, there was so much messing around with this soil. I want hard points, so that the foundation is sitting on something solid, pardon the cliche, but I want this, that the disturbance of the soil makes me twitchy, makes me nervous. And so I'd like hard points, please. So we did hard points on the Canyon model at the engineer's recommendation.
Okay, perfect. All right, we've got Will. Hi from Will and Tina Whitfield. We are building the San Gabriel in Grapeland, Houston County. We just heard our file got released to construction and are looking forward to the next exciting steps. Awesome.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Thanks for tuning in, Will.
We've got Robert waiting on final drafting and soil sample report, ready to get rolling.
Yes.
Awesome. Linda, hi from Maypearl, Texas. Building a Whitney in Maypearl, just got sent to purchasing, so hopefully will be sent to construction soon. Awesome. Then we have Jabo asking if Tilson has ever considered offering an extended home warranty to customers.
Christy, what do you think? Would you like more homes to deal with?
I mean, it's not that we're not here to help answer questions. we you know, it's Eric.
I can now listen. So we can start selling extended warranties. No, so it's not. So, look, the answer is no, not really. Really, what it comes down to is homeowner maintenance. Like Chris is saying, we want to educate you on how to take care of your own. I mean, it's like you need to get the oil changed in your car and get the cabin air filter changed in your car. Like you need to change air filters in your house. You need to make sure that water's flowing away from them all the way around. Like there's regular scheduled maintenance that needs to be done on your home. You need to clean the dryer vent out from time to time. There's stuff like, and spoiler alert, there's a whole series of videos coming out on exactly that, starring Mrs. Christy Reyes. But it's not, we would need to have a team in place to do it right, Jabo. We would have to have a much larger, more robust team in place that can go around. Because what I would envision of doing extended warranty, it would be like the stuff that I'm talking about. It would be somebody that you're paying us to come out and change your air filters. You're paying us to come out and, do all that kind of stuff. And it's just not something that's not why we have a warranty department. Our warranty department is not a revenue stream for us. Most companies who do extended warranties of any kind, it's straight up a revenue stream.
Yeah.
You're spending money monthly with them. They're hoping that they never have to come out and do anything.
Well, and I think this has become a very popular product when you're buying a used home. To get that 3-year warranty, a lot of people are trying to throw it into the deal, and that's kind of covering what we were talking about on our first year. So the first year would be a complete waste if we gave you that product because we're already doing it
by law. We're already doing it.
Yeah, by law we already have all that stuff covered for the first year, and then like Eric was saying, it's you pay $500 and then they pray they never have to come out, and when they do come out, you're paying $100 for the service visit, which a lot of times, quite frankly, would have covered the part. Like you didn't need to do it. So that's why we're not in that business.
Good question, though, Jabo. Thanks for asking.
Great question. We got Will.
I was gauging Christy's appetite for more warranty calls.
Will.
All right. We got Will coming in from Klondike.
Hey, Will.
He took a quick break to say hi before getting his garden stuff prepped. He's got an amazing, guys, you should see his setup. He's got all the critters.
He's got 2 days of a good weather window. He needs to get the disc in the ground and get the seed and the fertilizer and get done with it.
Yep. And then we've got Lucky Luke asking, please explain the 24-inch slab. Approximately how much downgrade will 24 inches good for an 80-foot by 50-foot slab?
Okay, Lucky Luke, I don't understand the second part of the question. We don't do any. So typically, if we're talking about a 24-inch slab, it's because we're having to come up higher. So depending on where in the state you're building, our starting slab height ranges usually from 11 inches, which is the size of 2 2x6s or a 2x12, up to, in some places, 14 and a half, and in other places where it's required, even higher. And so sometimes 24-inch, like I know of places like City of Manville, I think is one. They require 24-inch tall slab. And usually in those cases, it's either we're trying to get out of a floodplain some way, we're trying to build the house up higher so that we're out of a floodplain, or we're trying to meet a city or county requirement. Galveston County, for instance, they want 18 inches above the center line of the street. So a street has a crown in it, a road ideally has a crown in it, so it sheds water. Well, they'll say Galveston County is like, all good. I want your slab, the finished floor of your slab where people are walking around, I want that 18 inches higher than the middle of the street. Why? Because Galveston's flat. It doesn't shed water real well. So we kind of have to, down in the Houston area, we have to kind of make up our own hills and drainage. And that's usually an effort for. So I don't know specifically what you're talking about on the downgrade part, but if we're talking about 24-inch slab, it's usually because we're needing to meet some requirement to raise the house up. And sometimes it is to a drainage issue where we don't want water, running up into your garage or running onto your front porch, right, Christy? So those are things that if we don't address them early on, we end up fighting them later, or the customer ends up fighting them forever. So,
Okay.
But that's a big slab, by the way. 80 by 50 would be a very, very large foundation. It's 4,000 square feet.
Yeah. All right, we got Mike asking, do we get a set of all paints and varnishes that are used in the house for touch-ups on our own later?
So we still leaving a kit, Christy? I don't know if Sherwin we used to have little kits that they left. I can't remember now. Right now, we don't know if we can get it or not.
That's the concern is that, I again, it's the same thing with everything else where manufacturers are so stretched on product. I don't believe so. If for some reason we need it, when we're going out to home, we could absolutely pick that up. However, we just like to be prepared. So that's from our perspective, that's what we end up doing either way, whether you have it or not. We're going to pick up a gallon, then we'll end up leaving it with you if that is the case. So if you do call something in that is under warranty, we will pick that up and take it out to you and, use it for the repair and then have it for future. Because I like going back. It is just so hard to get right now.
It is very hard to get. And I'll tell you that they've come a long way in the 20 years I've been doing this in color matching. Like it's a night and day difference now. Before we'd go into the paint store and say we needed, whatever color, aspen white, and you'd show up and we'd get enough paint to be ready to paint the whole wall because it probably wasn't going to touch up.
Yeah.
And our technicians and the folks answering the phone are very aware of that. That. Not trying to get up in your business, they're trying to figure out how much paint they're actually going to need because it's not going to touch up in situations like that. So the reality is, though, you do have all the selections on your options addendum on your color selection sheet. If you lost that for some reason, because like you're a normal human being, you don't keep those kinds of things around. Christy and her team have all of that stuff documented in their department, so we can hook you up with all that information.
Okay. All right. And then Robert is asking, site planning was listed as 1 year. Does that cover the drainage zones, grading issues if they appear?
I think we are going to get into that as far as, we do the final grade around the home. And at that point, it does become homeowner responsibility to maintain that grading and the drainage, making sure that is adequate enough around the entire perimeter of the home. That does become homeowner responsibility. So we do urge to either add some sod or some grass or something soon after, or have your plan in place for what you're going to do with the surrounding area, landscaping or whatnot, to prevent any of that washout. Because if it does happen, unfortunately, that is something that is not, typically a warrantable item.
Okay.
Right. And really some of the big stuff we were concerned with, Robert, on those is like customer puts in a pool, afterwards. So, maybe it's the first year, maybe it's the 6th year. What's that going to do for drainage? Make sure that you talk to the pool installer and whoever's going to do your final landscaping about, hey, water still has to shed away from this house. Building a metal building, have a lot of customers who build metal buildings. Be sure that the metal building you're building, it shouldn't be that close to your house, but if it is, make sure that it's got a roof on it. Be sure it's not dumping water onto one side of the home, even if it is 10, 15 feet away from the foundation. You don't want to be dumping a bunch of water onto one side of your house that's eroding away, something like that. So that's really where I have seen the biggest problems occur, right? I mean, it's landscaping is probably number one. Mm-hmm. Trapping water against your house by putting gigantic beds right in front of them. And then other structures that customers add after the fact.
Right. Definitely any flower beds with either some type of, the flower beds with a border, you're going to want to make sure that you're allowing that drainage. You still need it to flow away from that area. Otherwise, you're basically creating a pool. Same thing with any additional flat work you're adding. Sidewalks in between the home and, people they enjoy or like to put flower beds in between their sidewalk and their home. You have to make sure, we can't, express that strongly enough to be able to put that you have gutters and proper drainage to make sure that it's not pooling in those areas.
Right. All right.
Because if for some reason people tend to, if they focus on one side of the home by where their flower beds, let's just say it's on one side of the home or the front of the home, and they're not doing the same for the back, you're already kind of creating an imbalance of the moisture content around your entire perimeter, and that could eventually cause issues or concerns as well.
It's like the opposite of a mullet. Business in the front, party in the back, landscaping. So be sure everybody gets the equal amount of love around the house. We gotta make sure that'll really help land it, Christy, if you start talking about mullet.
I like that. I think I'm gonna keep thought of that.
She's like, well, why did I do this?
I know. Why did I agree to come on? All right, J-Bo is asking for clarification. Do I understand correctly? You recommend we contact the Tilson warranty department for help with manufacturer's warranty claim, even if issues occur after the Tilson warranty has expired?
No, not the case. So with the appliances, while they're under the 1-year warranty, then yes, contact us throughout. So your warranty begins the date of your closing. The date of your closing is your warranty, when your warranty begins, and you have 1-year warranty. So throughout that time, when it comes to the appliances, we will help you coordinate the service that you need for those appliances through the manufacturer warranty. If you, but again, if at any point you have any questions and you're outside the warranty, we could direct you to the right people, to the right company, provide you any information as long as we still have it on file, which we do keep for, I believe, 11 years.
And if you're having trouble with the manufacturer, do call us and we'll see if we can help grease those skids a little bit.
Absolutely.
This is a cattle prod, by the way. This is
All right. Well, I think let's go ahead and talk about maintenance so we can make sure we get through
guys,
it for
putting your questions in. We are going to answer your questions. I know there's a bunch more. We'll get to those, but we want to get through this presentation in case there's people that have like actual lives that they do between after 3 o'clock.
All right. So maintaining your home. So let's talk about dirt.
Yeah, that's kind of what we were just going over for those reasons, as far as just, we do the final grading, and, it is good as a homeowner to have a plan in place, and understanding Texas soil, and it does expand and it does contract. And it is very important to keep the moisture content around your home and your entire perimeter pretty even, pretty consistent for the most part. You could have trees on one side of the home, and you have to take that into consideration as well, because trees do tend to soak up a lot of the moisture, from that side. And you could have a good plan in place for that. But if you've got trees on one side of your home and it's completely open on the other, that could potentially cause some deflection, and you'll see that soil pulling away from the home. One of the things you never want to see is soil pulling away from your home, because that does mean that it's not getting enough moisture content, and it's going to potentially cause some, what we call, like I mentioned, some deflection. Okay. And going back to, the landscaping and flower beds, if you have it on one side of the home and you're wanting to keep your flowers alive. I'm not a flower person, so I'm so sorry. But at the same time, homeowners do tend to, they want to keep them, living and just, and things. So if they're focused on that area, not the rest of the home, you could also cause it's called heaving, where it does expand, and it'll oversaturate that particular area. And while not necessarily, I guess you can say, neglecting the rest. I guess it's a fair thing to say, where that's where we see problems. Okay. So it is something you do want to make sure that you do keep that moisture content consistent around the entire perimeter, if you do have something like that set up.
Okay. This is kind of a little bit more info on that. So yeah, make sure we don't want to see any puddling like this. We got a problem. We want to make sure that water's draining away. Getting all of that. All right.
Yeah, definitely not. That's where it goes into the drainage. That's probably improper drainage that's causing that. If it's just allowing it to pool, and you do have to maybe consider bringing in some dirt to allow it to slope away. I believe it's we do set that up. It's 10 foot for the it's backwards.
10 feet.
Yes.
10 feet. We have to establish positive drainage a minimum of 10 feet away from the house all the way around. And then it is, the homeowner's responsibility to maintain that drainage.
Yep.
But basically, you don't want water standing against your home, and you don't want to walk around your house and see a gap between their foundation and your, so that's going to happen in a drought, obviously.
Right.
Or like Christy said, if there's a, you got a beautiful 80-year-old oak tree, maybe 20, 25 feet, or maybe a grove of them. You may have 6 or 7 of them around there. And in a really dry, it would blow your mind how many gallons per day a large oak tree soaks up out of the ground. And if it's happening on one side of the house and not on the other, in a truly drought type situation, that could cause a real issue.
Right.
As moisture goes away, one side of the house could actually start to fall. And I mean, it's not going to happen where you like fall down. It's going to happen slowly.
Right.
But yeah, basically the big thing is if you see something, say something. If you see something, take a picture, get it to our team, and we can walk you through some. Because a lot of these things, just like with any other with health issues, if you catch them early enough, you can do something about them before something catastrophic happens.
And for those that are busy, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, if you catch it early enough when it's dry, like, you actually can water your house. Like, you need to water your house, which is kind of a weird thing to say, but
yeah, I was just gonna say, so typically during the summer months, we do recommend soaker hoses on a timer. For those that if you're leaving to work, you automatically set it up on a timer around the perimeter of the home. You can start off as early as I can't really put a time on it without knowing the area. Right. And then obviously during the months where we do get a lot of rain, you're going to want to decrease that time and not water it as much, or maybe just turn it off for that time being. But during the summer months, soaker hoses on a timer it would be extremely helpful to maintain that.
All right. And then that final grade that we were talking about.
Yeah, mainly just want to make sure that be careful about your landscaping. That's really where we see it more than anywhere else, I think, is landscaping or flat work, like I said, that trap water. That's the biggest thing you want to. So we do the final grade and then make sure that that's maintained. Stuff's going to erode away, or that's why you get that tractor with a little front end loader out your acreage. You can take that bucket of dirt and dump it in there and show your wife how manly and handy you are with a tractor. Please don't get too close to the house with the front end loader if you're not very experienced, because that is not a
but what if she wants
item.
to do the work?
Yeah. She'd probably be better at it, Christy.
Just saying.
Oh, my wife has her tractor. She's allowed close to the house. I am not.
Yep. And then just more landscaping and yard maintenance, not to keep saying the same thing, but your foundation is very important, folks.
Very important.
Make sure that you are protecting it. So make sure we're watering uniformly. You've got your sprinkler heads to not water the foundation when you're doing stuff like that, and make sure you've got weep holes in your flower beds so that the water can get out and move away from the home.
All very good advice.
And then trees, don't plant a big tree next to your house. We say it again. It's worth saying so many times. We're just going to keep saying it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. Or like it's mentioned, as far as like having a root barrier there in between your tree and the home, if you've got some sentimental value to that tree or or such.
Yeah, a root shield. So for real quick, what that means is just you can take a trenching machine, that you can rent, or you can dig it if you really feel tough one weekend. Dig you a 3-foot or 4-foot deep trench. Really, anything will work. A piece of galvanized, roofing tin, a piece of fiberglass that you can just put down. Basically, anything that'll prevent the roots from growing. And actually, to go even further, you could dig some post holes on the side of the tree opposite the home. Dig some post holes over there, fill them with pea gravel or some type of rock, and water on that side. And what you're doing is you're training the roots to go
this way,
away from the house. Yeah. So there's a lot of things you can do to prevent roots from trying to go, because the part of your home that keeps the moisture the best is the very middle of it, right? Because as the sun is baking, it doesn't ever get to hit that part of the middle where the dirt is, because it's always under a foundation. So the roots are going to go, I'm kind of needing some moisture, and my party tends to tell me there's
a lot of it over here.
I'm gonna head over there. So anyway, it's really common sense, folks, but it is something that you think about, because again, this is all stuff to minimize having to even ever use warranty, which is really the goal.
Yes, absolutely. And then we get a lot of questions about gutters and downspouts, and just, want to make sure we mentioned the importance of when you do that your downspout, your water's going at least 5 feet away from the foundation, because normally they just bring it right next to the house, and they try to put these silly little plastic things, and they're like, that's good, but you really need to direct the water far away, which I know sometimes they do like really ugly black above ground pipes. I'm sure Eric knows the actual word for that, but you can also like dig down and direct it out, and do a pop-up drain. But get that water, you're putting up your gutters because you're trying to do a good thing. Make sure you're actually taking that extra step and protecting your home.
Right.
All right. I think that is it. So let's see.
Oh, that is the beginning, because there are more questions.
Yes, there are questions.
You guys keep asking your questions. We're going to go back to those now, but keep asking your questions, and we will answer them as accurately as we can.
Yes. And I know Kelsey already answered Jeannie, but I'm going to answer it as well, because we do get asked this a lot. Do we send out links to recordings on these discussions? So these discussions, wherever you found us right now, it will always be there. So you can always go back to YouTube or Facebook, and the recordings stay there forever, or at least until they decide to delete it, because we don't delete it. And then we also have a collection of them on our website. If you go into our blog section, you can see all of these videos and rewatch them into your heart's content. And then Susan is asking, once the slab is poured, what is the time frame for completion in the Lodace area? I understand it is still difficult to find contractors in our area.
Yeah, I would budget at least 10 months right now after the slab is poured, in anywhere in the Hill Country, and really, I mean, most of the state, but particularly the Texas Hill Country. You need to allow another probably 10 months on top of after the foundation's placed. Some are going faster than that, some are taking a little longer.
Yeah. All right, and Diane is doing a canyon in Grayson County, waiting on all the little things. Hopefully moving in next month. Awesome.
Hang in there with us. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Marilyn, very exciting. Hello there. We poured our slab last Friday. Awesome. It's great. Joe is asking, does Tilson work with county certifications in low-lying areas?
We do, Joe. Typically we'll have to have that. We'll have to have all those boxes checked, T's crossed, and I's dotted before they'll give us a permit. So we're gonna have to prove. We have to prove to them that we're going to build it. If it's in a floodplain, for instance, which typically what that means, we have to prove to them that we're going to be building it out of a floodplain. So we may ask you or ask a surveyor for an elevation certificate, for instance, which will tell us, hey, this is what floodplain is in this area, 47 feet above mean sea level. People in the Hill Country are like, 47 feet? Is that a thing? Yes. as you approach the coast, it goes all the way to zero. So anyway, and they'll say, in this case, you have to be, 12 inches above that or 18 inches above that. And so we will permit that we're going to do that. And then before we can pour, we'll have a surveyor come out there and actually verify the height of our form to make sure that we did what we said we were going to do. So,
okay.
Yes.
All right. And then we have a question. I have the vision of adding stonework in our house plan. Would Tilson consider using those found on our land? We have quite a lot of rock stones at the back of our property.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to get it from a quarry, and the reason is because even if it's a random looking pattern that you're looking at, the thickness of it is very uniform.
It's the same, yeah.
It's really, really important for water drainage because moisture can build up. It does build up, but on the outside of the Tyvek, so you got the OSB sheathing, and then you got Tyvek on top of that. Then there's some airspace between that and the brick or stone, and the idea being that as moisture builds up, it can run down and out. So there has to be a consistent thickness of the stone that we use. And unfortunately we can't just, and I know there's a lot there, but you would spend so much money on having to take it, quarry
get it cut down. Yeah.
Take it to a quarry that they have a facility that they can actually cut it down to the right sizes, thickness wise, bring it back out to the job. It's going to be way more cost effective just to go with something that's straight from the quarry. But that's a great question. And we've been asked that before.
Yeah. All right. Shelly is asking, how long are things like tile cracks covered under warranty? Is that the 1-year warranty as well?
It is the 1-year warranty. It is definitely the 1-year warranty. We will, again, it's something, send us photos. We can take a look at the surrounding areas in the photos if it's just the one cracked tile that's in the middle of the room with nothing else around it in your home is 5 years old. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be considered under warranty. But if they're, in some cases, like, Eric mentioned earlier, we're not going to run away from something if we think that there's something else we need to look at. If you do have cracked tiles that are running in a line. And again, this is something you can reference in the structure booklet that does describe things to look for if you do have any additional concerns on leaning towards possible foundation concerns. When it comes to that, it is, but for if it's just a cracked tile here or there, that does fall under a 1-year warranty.
Okay. JB was asking, how is warranty repair handled if the style, color of tile needing repair is no longer available when the Tilson warranty claim is made?
Has that ever happened, Christy?
It's happening. It's unfortunate. I mean, I can say that we will try our best ability to get it as close as possible to the original match of your home. Obviously, if you're ordering any tile after the fact, for the most part, we do leave a few pieces at the home, whether in the attic, the garage, somewhere in storage, that's on site to do a repair or two if needed. We do try, again, like we go through the manufacturer directly. There's an actual label on the box that'll tell us where it's manufactured from. You're either going to get California, Mexico, or somewhere else, and it has to be that specific dialot, the specific code in order to match. And even if we were to provide that to the manufacturer and say, here's the information, they unfortunately cannot guarantee it's going to be an exact match because it's clay made. It's not something that they're going to be able to produce exactly the same, but they can get as close as possible. And we will try to do that, but unfortunately we will not be able to guarantee an exact match on paint or tile or grout color or mortar for those reasons.
Yeah.
It's a one, and what she means by die lot is, obviously a batch of that tile was baked through the facility at a specific moment in time, and it will never be the same die lot again. It'll be close, but when you put two of them side by side that were manufactured 3 years apart, you're probably going to be able to know, unless it's like glossy white, you're going to know. And so that's what we're talking about. We say it'll be close. Now we do leave some there, like she said, but
so if you have extra tile, don't get rid of it.
No.
Yeah, don't use it to prop something up. Don't use it as road base. Save it.
Save it. All right. Michelle is saying, hi, we're building a San Antonio plan. The Tilson team has set the foundation form, spread the fill materials, and installed the plumbing. Awesome. That means you should be getting some concrete soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Question from YouTube. Does Tilson provide a landscape package in Canyon Lake?
We don't right now, unfortunately. We don't have a landscaper for the Canyon Lake area.
Okay. All right. Michelle is asking, how far from the house should trees be planted?
I have an opinion, but I'll let Christy go first.
On the other side? No. On the other side. It's a minimum, of at least.
I say 20 feet.
I was going to say 25. I know we used to have documentation that said 20 feet, but just.
Yeah. As far away as you can and still get the look you're going for.
Right.
I would never put one within 20 feet deliberately.
Does it matter what type of tree it is?
Man, the further out the branches are going to go, like that's where the roots go. That's kind of a good rule of thumb. And so if it says that it's going to develop a canopy that's, 30 or 40 feet in diameter, if it's within 30 feet of the house, guess what? One day it's going to be under there. Now, you may be old and gray or senile when it happens, but it'll happen.
It might be the kids' problem then. All right. The Zertuches are excited for our Frio home, hopefully breaking ground in a couple of weeks. Awesome. Linda is asking, why are gutters not included with the house? I always thought that they were, but this is my first time building a home.
Great question, Linda. And so typically it's because our customers don't really have a great idea of what they want to do landscaping wise. So 91% of what we build is rural. It's out in the country. And so our customer, you're not going to see your classic 5-gallon shrubberies and 3-gallon and 15-gallon trees. That's not how our customers, that's not what they're after. That's what they're kind of moving away from. So we see a lot of xeriscaping, so a lot of natural, so that, what's growing there naturally, let that do its thing, and you don't have to water it, and you don't have to do all that kind of cool stuff with it. But because you really need to have a pretty good idea of how you're going to do landscaping, because where those downspouts come down on gutter system, you don't want them coming down the middle of where you're doing landscaping. So most of our customers prefer to wait until they have a good landscaping plan. In the meantime, what does at least happen is you have even water distribution around the home if you don't have gutters, if nothing else, as opposed to having 4 or 5 really wet spots where the downspouts come down and just sit there. Like Christy said, splash blocks are better than nothing, but they're not the best alternative. You really want it to get further away than that.
Right.
But the reality is, at least if we're not doing gutters, you do have you got a chance to have even water distribution all the way around the home. And then once you have a good plan in place of what you want to do landscape, you've been there for a little bit and say, okay, we're definitely gonna do the fire pit over here. I really like to have grandma's bench here in the front where people walk up, and maybe a planter. Is a planter still a thing? People do planters. Maybe a tractor tire turned over with flowers in it. These are things I've seen. Wheelbarrows.
This is recorded, right? You said your wife has access to this
100%,
as well?
100%.
Okay.
You never watch it. But yeah.
Coming up with some ideas along the way. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's really the reason, Linda. That's a great question.
All right. And then Luke is asking, do we offer emergency power generators or wiring for future use?
So we do. We have partners set up in most areas of the state that do it. We can definitely set it up for wiring in all the areas. And then in some areas, we actually have, like I know Texas Star Propane, who we use around the greater Houston area, particularly north, they are a Generac dealer. So you can link up with them and get that done. I tell you, there's a long lead time on them, like everything else.
You're right.
Yep. We got Vane, very exciting news, closing on a Canyon A in Collin County by the end of March. That's
Very
awesome.
Cool.
Ashton is asking, I was told that y'all are not working with outside lenders at this time due to them not knowing your process. Is this true?
Well, it actually depends on the outside lender, but broadly speaking, that is true. Particularly, and nothing against them, they have their place, but like your Wells Fargo's, your Bank of America's, your Citicorps, unfortunately, they just don't understand custom building well enough, and it ends up being really quite miserable for the customer. Because we need the appraisal up front. They never want to do that. They want to do it at the end. That's not going to work. So, but the reality is, if you work with one of our lenders that we're recommending, that's why we recommend more than one, by the way, compete for the rate. You're going to get a very competitive rate. You're going to have a very pleasant experience because they are fluent in building on your land in Texas. You're not talking to somebody in Minnesota or, a call center in Kansas that doesn't have nothing against Minnesota or Kansas. I'm sure they're full of great people, but it's really, really helpful when with specific build on your land, mechanics lien law, promissory note that is specific to the state of Texas. You need to be dealing with somebody in Texas. And so it's not to say that we absolutely will not, but we do certainly need to vet them. We need to have a conversation with them. So find out who the loan officer is, let them speak to our homeowner guidance group, our closing team, see if it's somebody that we can help with. Because if there's a good lender out there, we'd be glad to talk to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't discriminate at all, really, of who gives us money. We're pretty open to that.
All right. Tanya is saying, I can't believe I've missed so many of these. We poured our foundation this past Saturday. The Thompsons from San Antonio building in Spring Branch. I know, it's been a minute. You haven't been on the last couple of these.
Where have you
missed
been?
you. I know. It's like she's a real job or something.
I was going to call TxDOT, put one of the alerts up there looking for you.
Michelle is asking if we can recommend landscaping companies in their area. She understands that we don't do any landscaping.
I don't know. I mean, there's a few places that I would even venture to recommend, but they're not that hard to find. Good ones are, but I would meet them out there, figure out what have to have a plan. I'm not real big on pay half now and pay half later. I'm a big fan. That's usually my first vetting layer is like, can you afford to put this in and get paid when it's done? I'm a pretty hard, fast rule on that in a general contract kind of way. Yeah. So that's kind of a good initial filter. If somebody wants a bunch of money up front, that's kind of a showstopper for me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then I see a question from Joe. Everybody, this is the last question I see. So if you have any questions, start typing because last call. Joe is asking, are Tilson homes built with propane hookups or only electric for appliances?
Well, Joe, we'll build it any way you want to. So our customers really have three options. You got all electric, natural gas, or propane, like what you're talking about. And most of our customers, like I mentioned, they're building out in rural areas. They don't have access to natural gas. There's not a bunch of gas lines run. And so down, county road, whatever. So you're going to have propane, but we just need to know ahead of time. So that's a decision that you make with your design center consultant up front whenever you're doing the design of the home, changes like that. Because we need to know, hey, what's the water heater going to be? What's the heating of the house going to be? What's the cooking going to be? Like your appliances that you're talking about. So that decision is made pretty early on. All electric is easy. It works everywhere in the state. When ERCOT is working, it works everywhere. And then otherwise, if you do want to go gas, do propane, then we will do the propane appliances. They're really pretty much the same as natural gas ones. You just have to change. There's a little orifice that is changed out that changes the rate of the flow of the gas.
Okay, so, perfect. And that is all the questions that we have.
Christy, you survived. Isn't that
great?
No, you did awesome.
I do truly enjoy it. I think it's very informative, and especially for a lot of our first-time home buyers that don't know. Like I'd mentioned that, there's always going to be someone there to answer any questions you may have, or just, to put you in the right direction. Even when you do call our main warranty line or our email address, we do have after hours as well. So you will, even after hours, if you call for emergency purposes, you use the same number for warranty. You could either just leave, if maybe on a Saturday you want us to call you first thing Monday. We do have a general mailbox, and we have an emergency on call. It is a Tilson representative that is the one that is on call. So it is not, again, same thing. It's not an outside place or contractor or something that's going to be answering that call. You will actually speak to a Tilson representative, and we'll try to help you find your answers and get you, in contact with who you need to be for that reason. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you and your team for everything that you do. Y'all have to y'all get to deal with all of the eventual potential mistakes and sins of every other department. And so for that, I am grateful. I know it seems like a thankless job at times. Everybody who calls has an issue, but the fact that y'all are there to help and you're that safety net for our customers and for our company is something that we're really, really grateful for. So thank you, Christy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And folks, thank y'all so much for watching. We're grateful that you tuned in. Obviously, this will be posted to our YouTube and Facebook pages and channels and whatever. We have a website that's open 24/7. We have design centers that are open 7 days a week. We have an Instagram page, Facebook page, YouTube channel. I think that's all the places we're on LinkedIn, but
yeah,
we don't need jobs.
Do you want a job? Go there.
If you want a job, go there. Anyway, but in all cases, we're so grateful that you're watching. Thank you to all of our customers who are bearing with us through this very interesting, weird time. Supply chain issues. We know that is a struggle. The highly emotional charge purchase that at your home is, and we don't take that lightly. So whether we say it or not enough, we probably can't. But thank you for hanging in there with us. We will see this through. And until then, we really hope to soon make you part of the Tilson family. We'll talk to y'all later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.